He's done it!
Victory is mine! Victory is mine! Great day in the morning, people. Victory is mine.
Morning, Josh.
I drink from the keg of glory, Donna. Bring me the finest muffins and bagels in all the land.
It's gonna be an unbearable day.
Good morning. God, have I got reasons to celebrate today. I've done it. Just like I put it in that picture on the thumbnail. I've done it. It's been 6 months or so that I've been doing this part of my journey. I got a picture out there I'm going to show in a second that was from June 5th. So that's what? June to July to August to September to October to November, and then most of the month of November. So almost 6 months. 26 shots of this stuff, which is 25 full weeks since the first shot. And I have made it to 235.1. This is a 50-pound weight loss. It's actually a 50.1 pound weight loss. But it's, 50.9 pound weight loss. But 50 pounds has been reached through all my efforts of the last 6 months. All right, and just this last week alone, it was a 2.6 decrease, which I tell you what, it's been on my mind all week. And I guess that's one of the things that's making goals like this possible for a person like me, is I've kept goals in mind. And I made sure I did everything I possibly could to not sabotage it. I kept on going back to what I'm doing this for, why I want to do this. Besides just numbers coming off the scale, but also just a matter of, being healthier, being around for my kids more. Hell, fitting in older clothes that have been in the closet and increasing, my wardrobe and just making it more expansive than it was before. But I tell you what, this has been amazing. I'm happy as hell, as you can definitely tell on me. And, I have been planning for this one all week, thinking nothing but victory was an option. It was do everything possible every day. I didn't even do my big old cheat day on last Wednesday. Because I said, you know something? When I checked in last week, I was at the 237.7. That's so damn close. And I jumped on that scale pretty often during this past week. Just trying to say, how am I doing? How am I doing? Am I up? Let me double down. And I tell you what, in order to help get here as fast as I possibly could, I even, besides seeing my trainer 3 days this week like I normally do, I jumped on my own personal treadmill in the garage twice. In fact, I did it Wednesday night after I was done with work and the kids were home from school and we're all ready. I'm like, boom, babe, I'm going out there. I'm doing 45 minutes. And then Tuesday morning, I woke up, bam, jump right back on the damn thing again. So it's like anything I could do to help make this the victory week. Because in just a few days, I'm turning 50 years old. This guy is turning 50 years old. So I'm able to do 50-pound weight loss by the time I reached 50. And while it's completely arbitrary saying 50 by 50, I like the sound of it. And I was going for this kind of a sound. So, as Josh Lyman said in that video, victory is mine. As Valerian said in the first video, he's done it. So I worked for it. I really did. And for those who might not remember, this is the result of 5 things being done simultaneously since I started on June 5th. Okay? The first was, with everything, you got to change your eating habits. And I had to change mine. Especially the snacking, especially the late at night dessert or snack or whatever you want to call it, because that one can kind of creep up on you if you're not paying attention too much. So I took my intake and made it more sensible. throw a couple salads into my meals from time to time, like once a week or something like that. Portion size. Get it down to the part where I can just eat it and be happy that I ate something. The quality of food I ate, I tried to change that a little bit. Make sure you get those, besides the portion sizes, throw more vegetables on a plate. Make sure it's just not something that's just fried or something that's all greasy with cheese dripping off of it. While they might be tasty as hell, I had to limit those things as much as I could because it wasn't doing me well. So food was number one. Number two was drinking. I enjoy my glasses at night. Again, a nighttime thing that I was doing. I think that at one point, if I kind of averaged it out or something like that, I was probably doing like a pint of whiskey a night. Filled up 2 small glasses. The first one would go like that. And the second one would take a little bit of time. Depending upon the night, maybe there's even a third one. But those 2 alone was about a pint. Now I was like, listen, you do 1, max, maybe 2 on a celebratory kind of night. But I cut it down, I like to think, by about a third. Because even after a while, I wasn't doing the full glasses, I was kind of doing half glasses or something like that. So I made that a point of knocking down. That was number 2. Number 3, my doctor prescribed for me this Ozempic pen. Because I went for a physical back in March, my blood work came back diabetic. So it made this an option to start using Ozempic. And I heard that people were getting some good results on it, but I also heard that people who were on it and then got off of it, if they didn't change their lifestyles, just saw everything that they've lost come right back again. So my focus has been to change my lifestyle while doing this. Now, I'm not going to get another blood test until January, so I have 1 more month or a month and a half of this that I can still get benefits from. So I'm going to take them, and like I've said before, I'm going to ride this train as long as it'll keep me on as a passenger. But if it turns out insurance won't cover it, or I can't have it anymore, I don't need it, and he's not going to prescribe it, even though if I wasn't diabetic anymore, this would kind of be part of the reason besides my efforts. So it might be a medical necessity to maintain. But in the meantime, this did its assistance. So this was number 3. Change lifestyle for 1 and 2, which was the food and the drink, and take a medication. Number 4, exercise. Everyone says it. Everyone hears it. Most people who don't do it don't want to hear it. I was a person who can exercise, but it wasn't my thing. It wasn't a kind of thing that I would make sure I did every day, like brush my teeth. So I would do it whenever. So now I'm actually paying some cash to see a trainer 3 days a week. So I know that half hour with him, that's my time. I'm paying for it extra. And I'm doing what I can to make a little bit extra money to help afford that better as well. So I'm exercising. We're doing some things. He's keeping good records. He's bumping up the weight when we bump it up. In fact, even yesterday we were doing chest work. So I was doing push-ups that he's been slowly putting me on this. He's got like a rack on the wall, usually used for a big bar and shoulders to do squats, whatever else. But he's been lowering the height of the bar, and I've been doing push-ups on the bar. So originally I was doing them like on a steep incline, and we've been slowly but surely getting them down. And yesterday we were on the lowest setting possible. So he says, after this, our next step is you're on the floor. You're doing them on the floor. So he measures. When we do weights, what can I do to have 2 good sets and struggle on the third? But once I get the third set good, he bumps the weight and we go back again. I do the first 2 sets and struggle in the third until I can get past the third. And once I get past the third, okay, bump the weight. Let's go again. So he's been keeping good notes on that. And like he said, if I can do 1 more day extra outside of seeing him, the benefits are amazing. That's why I started doing I dusted off my treadmill in my garage, which I've had for 15 years, give or take. So it's like I've had this thing, just not used it. Hey, use what you got around your house. It's that important. So that exercise was number 4. And number 5, because of weight and whatever else, I have sleep apnea. So my doctor prescribed for me one of those CPAP machines. So I wear the mask over my mouth with oxygen constantly being fed in as much as I'm sleeping. I'd say all night long, but at about a certain time, after like 4 hours or so, I take it off and then sleep without it. It's just better for me to sleep without it, but I try to get as much as I can. So what does that do, though, is it gives me more oxygen while I sleep, which is just overall good for the body. From what I understand, the phrase aerobic, like if you do aerobic exercise, aerobic is simply oxygen to the blood. So if I'm getting more oxygen sleeping at night and not literally just suffocating and choking myself and waking myself up and not getting a restful sleep, that's going to help out my efforts. So that's my 5 points of index that I've been doing since June 5th that has been helping me out. And even with the medication, by the way, my doctor started me slow. He started me at a quarter dose. Like right now my dose is 1 milligram. So it was at 0.25. And I did that for a month, just trying to get things ready. And I think that first month I lost about 7 pounds. My doctor was like, it's so low, it's not doing anything. Just the fact that I stopped eating when I was eating in that excessive that I was eating, and the fact that I cut down drinking was going to make benefits immediately. And they did. Okay. The next month, it was a 0.5 doses. Now, just a half of a dose. So, again, it was getting introduced into my system, but it wasn't doing the work yet. And I still had losses. So, granted, it was one of those things where I had enough. I mean, I just lost 50 pounds. That was well enough to lose. So, being, I assume, morbidly obese, I was able to fix that along the way just by doing simple changes without this actually making an effect. And now I've kept it since then. Okay, so I gotta figure I did at least 10 pounds in the first 6 weeks. 10% by shot 13. So about 10%, so that was 280, so 28 pounds. So 28 pounds in the first 2 months, a little bit more than 2 months, was me, mainly. So I got the other half of it done since then. I'm thrilled. I really am thrilled. So I stayed the course. And the one thing that helped me out a lot, by the way, was actually doing these videos and telling you about this stuff. Because this kept me accountable. One of the things that my week is Wednesday morning to the next Wednesday morning. So Wednesday was almost like the cheat day where I'd have like a bad breakfast, but a tasty one that I would enjoy heartily. You know, and then maybe have like a dinner that night and then move myself forward. But what would happen is, because of cheating, I would then go up in the scale for like 2 days or so, maybe even 3, before it starts coming down. And then it wouldn't be till probably about Sunday that I would equal the prior week, if I was lucky. So then my real crash effect was Sunday through the end of Tuesday. So those 3 days is when I really did something. Because Tuesday almost ended up being like a fasting day for me. I would cut out as much as I possibly could. So like for instance, yesterday, I think in the morning I took a Metamucil powder, hoping I can just, get some fiber in and maybe, use a toilet and get rid of some stuff. Which, unfortunately, with eating less, really isn't happening. I don't think I'm constipated. I just think it's not enough to actually have things to come out of my system. But that was breakfast. Okay. Lunch was like 2 small clementine oranges. I think at 3 o'clock I had like a snack of a cookie. I made an oatmeal cookie batch earlier this week because we have tons of oats around here. And then dinner, again, after seeing my trainer, was again 2 more clementines. And I cut them up into their wedges. put them in a small bowl. My wife and I were watching Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon, we're almost done with the second season. And slowly taking one wedge every couple minutes and enjoying it, slowly chewing it, savoring it. Now, is that a good, nutritious day? Probably not for all intents and purposes. But I went balls to the wall on Tuesdays to make sure I can come in Wednesday morning and have a great result to play with. Now, I've already started this morning that I had my shake for breakfast, so I'm not going to do cheat day immediately or anything of that nature. I am just going to keep it going. Again, take this trip as long down the rails as this train will take me. But for now, I've got a trophy to get. So, I had bought these a while ago. If you're not familiar with what these things are, Weight Watchers actually used to do this, we probably still do, is some kind of charm reward system, okay? And this one here is the 50-pound weight loss milestone. Okay, I've earned this one. And take this off. Now this one, I'm going to do a little bit differently than I've done before. Because again, this is a huge, get the sticky stuff off the back of this one. There you go. A huge milestone for me. You know, never before have I even attempted to do this or succeeded at this level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find, I had an old chain just sitting around because people call me a hoarder because I don't throw anything out. But I'm like, you know something? There are times like this I might want to have something around. So I'm actually going to put this thing on the chain and I'm going to wear this for a couple days. Just to say, hey, I've done it. I'm sorry this is boring, but I got to do this myself. Got this. I got this side. God, I haven't put a necklace on in God knows how long. There we go. My 50-pound weight loss trophy. And by the way, it is just pure coincidence that I'm actually wearing my Dream Capture shirt today, which I had bought. So this is, I've made my dream come true through effort and everything else I've been telling you about. By the way, with these things, this is actually my full-on trophy thing from Weight Watchers. A lot of these things are like, I think from here back were all events that I had done when I was in there. You know, a key, a runner, and everything else. But everything in front of that is a milestone. You know, I got 5%, 10%, the 5 pound, 10 pound, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then 30 jumped to 40, and now 50. So that's my guy. So I'm going to put this thing back on my thing so I don't lose any of them because, hey, you know, I've done them. Okay, now, I'll do another tutorial just in case people are only watching this one for the first time. This here is an Ozempic pen, okay? And the Ozempic pen comes with separate needles. And they screw on individually. They're single-use needles. One of the viewers of this video had actually told me in the past that I think, I don't think it was Zepbound or something like that. They actually have like a reusable needle on their, on their injections. So they just kind of keep using it over and over. This, they try to be as clean as possible by doing one separate needle per. And what I also do, sorry if this is the boring part for you guys, but I gotta do this every Wednesday. Got a little alcohol solution on a tissue. And wow, my belly feels real flabby down there. Which is one of the main reasons why I'm also using a trainer. Is I'm trying to avoid getting the flab, the loose skin. Because that happens with weight loss sometimes. Ozempic has a dial here with the knob, and I'm going to twist this until I get to my 1 milligram. There it is. Got my 1 right there in the window is a 1. And pinch the area. Insert the needle. Click and hear it unwind. All done. Such a simple procedure to do. And as long as I stick with it, I'm seeing my results. Now I've got one more thing I want to show and then I'm done for the day. And that is just, and again, this might be me just so happy and bragging for myself, but I want to show the before and after pictures. So I found, so I have some, my folder structure on my computer is pretty anal retentively organized. So I have found this picture. Let me move to this side and put this picture up right here. And just look at the difference between the person I've become and what's going on right now. That is just, I don't even recognize that guy sometimes. Obviously, I have the same facial features, but that's what I've been able to do in these 6 months, is change that guy into this guy. So, I'm getting compliments too, which has been, it feels really good to hear people that say nice things to you. So, it doesn't really happen in today's society as often as you would think, but it's been good. Okay, I think I'm finished doing my victory lap for the moment. You guys also have had your comments come through the videos, and I want to thank you for those. And again, I'm also here to talk to you as well if you have any questions or concerns, or just want to, chat about your own or a husband's own or a wife's own journey. I have things I can share as well. Maybe things I haven't said because I didn't think about saying here. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching this, for listening, and you'll see me back here in 1 week. Like I said, I'm going to keep on going down. Oh, one last thing. I did forget one last thing. Give me 1 second while I stand up. This is a funny one. So, I actually have, like, to-do lists on papers around my office. Like, for instance, this is my to-do list that I have just for the house. And, like, every room is a different room. Every page is a different room with a task on it, blah, blah, blah. This is just a pad for house to-dos and honey-dos and blah, 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 blah. But I also have other ones, like, on the side here with just small things that have popped in my mind because I would say, hey, you should get around to this one day. But those thoughts kind of fleet in and then fleet out. And by the time you get home, it's gone. Like, I have to consolidate them. But I got 3 notepads here with things to get around to, and on this list, it's like, check out if I have stock options at work, how they're doing. I have ear pods, but my right one's not working too well. Figure out how to fix it or send it in to get repaired or get new ones, whatever else. I got some arts and crafts that I made in the garage. I got to sell those things too, because that's half the reason why I'm doing it. Even my wife, I've got a couple things for her as well, that she might like or she misses. I think, she used to have a pea coat. We can't find it. Hey, maybe I should get her a new pea coat. That'd be a nice gift. I've got my to-dos on lists all over the place. So it's just a matter of getting around to doing it. Now, why do I even say that? Is on my to-do list one time, I actually had the thing that I've never ridden a horse before. I would like to one day, but I just never did. So it's like, hey, learn to ride a horse. Or at least just ride it once and make it an experience in my life. So I wrote it on my list, ride a horse. Well, my wife believes that I'm a person that's just so difficult to shop for. And she looked at my lists one day, and she bought me a gift certificate to riding stables. And this is a place not too far from here. Actually, it's not too far from my old house, but it's still not that far from here, that I can actually go and redeem this. And it gives me a 90-minute package. It's a half-hour lesson and 1 hour on a trail. So, but one of the things was when I was 286, I didn't want to get on a horse at 286. I'm sure horses are fine with that kind of thing, but it wasn't fair for the horse. Now that I've reached 235, remember 236 was my 50-pound thing, two things can happen. One, I can finally redeem this and use it, which she's been really annoyed that I hadn't used it yet. But now I'm going to. The only question is, do I do it now or wait until the spring? Okay, that's number one. Number two, 236, I think that was my wedding weight. And my anniversary's coming up soon. We've been married for 11 years. So I've been able to reverse the negative effects of the last 11 years of my life, since I was 39 years old. So this was a big day. I was very happy for it. All right. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in a week. And also, happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you can have a good one. Whether you celebrate or not, I hope you have a good day tomorrow. All right.